Fox News Podcasts presents the Bret Baier Podcast with Fox News chief political anchor Bret Baier.
President Trump held a historic meeting with Syria's president, Ahmed al-Sharaa. He's a former leader of an al-Qaeda-affiliated terrorist group. Now he's being treated as an ally. We have an exclusive interview with the Syrian leader. Here's senior foreign policy correspondent and anchor Gillian, who spoke with him after the meeting.
You were just welcomed by President Trump, the leader of the free world, in the Oval Office. It's pretty much the highest honor somebody can receive here in the United States. How did that meeting go? What commitments did you make to the president? And I think most importantly for Americans, are the U.S. and Syria now allies?
صحيح. بداية خلال
Correct.
60 سنة الماضية كان سوريا
At the outset, in the last 60 years, Syria was isolated from the rest of the world, and there was a cutoff between the United States and Syria. And this is the first time a Syrian president visits the White House since the establishment of Syria in the 40s of the last century. And so after the fall of the former regime, Syria has entered into a new era, and this will build on a new strategy with the United States, especially with the United States.
Did you commit to having the country join the coalition to fight ISIS in the Middle East?
We participated in so many battles against Daesh, against ISIS for 10 years, and we have suffered a lot during these battles, and I have lost much of my forces in the battles against ISIS. The reasons for the presence of the United States militarily in Syria needs to be with the coordination with the Syrian government right now. So we need to discuss these matters, and we need to talk about and get into an agreement about ISIS.
You were affiliated with al-Qaeda just 11 months ago. You were designated by the U.S. government a foreign terrorist. You were actually on the wanted list. Times have obviously changed. Now you're playing basketball with military leaders here in Washington. You're meeting with President Trump. What has changed in the U.S.-Syria relationship? And then equally importantly, sir, what has changed about you in that time?
We talked about the future, the present, and the past, and so we talked about lifting the sanctions, and there was a decision at the United Nations at the Security Council to lift the sanctions on myself and other people as well.
Has President Trump raised with you, discussed with you, your own past affiliation with al-Qaeda terrorism?
ما أعتقد هذا أمر أصبح من الماضي يعني.
I think this is a matter of the past now. We did not discuss this actively. We talked about the president and the future. We talked about the investment opportunities in the future in Syria, and so that Syria is no longer looked at as a security threat. It is now looked at as a geopolitical ally, and it's a place where the United States can have great investments, especially extracting gas.
We'll continue right after this.
Do you, Mr. President, have regrets that al-Qaeda carried out those attacks that killed 3,000 Americans?
I was only 19 years old, so I was a very young person, and it didn't have any decision-making power at that time, and I don't have anything to do with it. And al-Qaeda was not present right then in my area. So you're speaking to the wrong person about this subject. We mourn for every civilian that got killed, and we know that people suffer from the war, especially civilians who pay the price, a hefty price for the war.
Mr. President, the White House has said that President Trump would like Syria to join the Abraham Accords. The foundational principle of the Accords is that Israel has the right to exist as a sovereign Jewish state. Is that something that you agree with?
أعتقد أن الوضع السوري يختلف.
I believe that the situation in Syria is different from this situation of the countries who went on with the Abrahamic agreement. Syria has borders with Israel, and Israel occupies the Golan Heights since 1967. We are not going to enter into negotiation directly right now. Maybe the United States administration with the President Trump will help us reach this kind of negotiation.
We understand that your predecessor, Bashar al-Assad, is living well in Moscow. He's, as far as we know, he is not suffering. He is not facing justice. What is your administration doing to ensure that at some point he faces consequences for the atrocities against the Syrian people?
يعني روسيا كانت بشكل أو آخر منخرطة في
Russia
التي حصلت
has participated in one way or another in the war against the people of Syria. So part of the negotiations that took place with Syria is that those who are wanted should be surrendered to Syria, including Bashar al-Assad. The Russians have a different opinion. However, justice must prevail. We have established a justice commission or traditional justice commission so that everyone can be held accountable for what they did, including Bashar al-Assad.
Ahead of this interview, we spoke to the family of Austin Tice. He's an American Marine and a journalist who was captured by terrorists inside Syria in 2012. The family has this message for you. They say they sincerely appreciate your commitment to reuniting families who were separated during the Assad regime. They want to know, Mr. President, what you are doing to help locate Austin and the other Americans who still remain missing.
During the war in the past, Syria has more than 250,000 people who are lost and we do not know where they are. I have met with the mother of Tyson, who is an incredible lady, and she met with my mother, and my mother went through the same thing. She lost me for 7 years, and she thought I was dead. So she stayed the course, and she believed and strongly believed that I was still alive, while everyone around her told her that I was probably dead. But she stayed the course. I asked my mother to tell the mother of Tyson about her experience and to tell her about how much I feel what she feels, and the loss of her child. And she is a strong woman, and I'm going to do everything in my power so that she can have important and enough information about her son, her and the other U.S. citizens, all the other people who have been lost in the past several years.
So off camera, during that interview, Brett, President al-Sharaa told me that the meetings he had today at the White House, which lasted nearly 2 hours, were amazing. He also disclosed to me that President Trump gifted him a MAGA hat. He says he plans to take that with him back home to Syria when he departs the United States. Brett?
Gillian, fantastic job. Really interesting. Thank you. Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.